Good morning, guys, and happy Tuesday. Well, it's actually closer to 12 right now than it is morning, but it's not 12 yet, so it's still morning. So today I got called off, and it's such a nice feeling when it never happens to you. Basically, being called off in a hospital setting means that there's not enough patients for the scheduled number of nurses, so they'll call one of the nurses and say you can stay home today. So yeah, that is a beautiful thing because lately our floor had been full, like all 30 or so beds filled and stuff like that. But I think because it's warming up, there's less RSV and flu and all that, and the cold weather is hopefully going away soon. It shouldn't be as bad, but there's always sick kids and sick people, so just taking it a day at a time. I feel like I have not been very present on Tumblr, which is not a bad thing. I've just been really busy. So I thought that I'd kind of video update you guys on where I've been, what I've been up to. So first of all, it's already March. I graduate May 21st or 20th, whatever that Sunday is. That's my official graduation date. My pinning ceremony for the nursing school is, so basically the nursing graduation is the Friday before that. So I'm freaking out a little bit. And honestly, I never considered myself a super anxious person when it comes to thinking about my future and stuff. But I think that lately it's because the security of being in college is going away. In a sense, college is safe because you don't have as many responsibilities as when you are a financially independent working adult, navigating the world and all that. And so for me personally, it's really scary thinking about transitioning my life back to Boston, actually. So I don't know if I shared, but I did decline a job offer in a pediatric hospital close by to where I am now, and the reason why I declined it was because I want to be home in Boston, and I was really back and forth for a while over should I stay here, should I look for a job in Boston, well, what if I don't get a pediatric position in Boston, what would I do then? But after praying a lot about it, I just really felt called to go back. I think a lot of factors are kind of playing into it, but basically all the pieces are falling in a way that I feel God really calling me to go back home. And so that's what I've decided to do. And since deciding that and since declining the job offer, I just feel a weight lifted off my shoulders because now I can put all my energy into applying for positions in Boston, basically. I've heard it's really competitive. So I do have a lot of fear and anxiety about that because, I know that I'm qualified as a nursing student and future nurse to work at a lot of these hospitals, but I feel that, for whatever reason, I feel like I'm not good enough compared to other people applying. And if I'm being honest, that's kind of what made me quit trying for UPenn, which is one of the schools that I really wanted to go to when I was in high school. Eventually I also just stopped caring about going to an Ivy League. I think that definitely did play a role in it, but I didn't take advantage of the skill sets that I had, the classes that I was taking, or my extracurriculars, and I just quit everything. And I don't regret my decision to come to the school that I did. But again, I quit while I was ahead, sort of thing. Or I quit before I started. Whatever that quote is, that was what I did in high school. And so I have the tendency to do that because I don't want to disappoint myself or disappoint my family. And, it's not that being unemployed is a bad thing, but I'm afraid to not be able to work and not be able to financially support myself or pay rent or anything like that. So those are just kind of the underlying things I've been thinking about lately. What else is there? So yes, Boston, I'm going back. I'm gonna move out of Ohio. And, you know, Cleveland was really good to me. I made some really meaningful relationships here, and I found and have been a part of a church that I really love here too. But like I said, I really feel God calling me back to Boston, and so that's kind of where I'm going. For me, college was a really hard transition. I was really lonely for the first year or two. It was just really hard, and I think it's something that we don't talk about a lot, is how freaking lonely it is. Like, you don't have any friends. And of course you do make friends along the way, but it's not the same as your best friends from home or high school or whatever. Like, those friendships took time to build, and so of course your college friendships are going to take time to build too. But like, meeting people that you love and who love you and who support you, and with whom you have a lot of really similar passions and values with. Of course, you don't have to have the same passions and values as everyone that you're friends with, but the people that you're close with are people who are going to push you to keep pursuing those things. And for me, like, when I think about the friends that I've made here, I'm so sad to leave and leave that behind, but whether they're staying here or going, you know, in their own directions. And yeah, but I also know that fear is not a good enough reason to stay. Feeling comfortable here is not a good enough reason to stay either. And this is actually one of the culminating moments that I had in my kind of relationship with the Lord this semester. I wasn't able to trust him, and so that's why I had a lot of anxiety about these things. You know, not that anxiety in and of itself is a bad thing or like an unhealthy thing, but more so like when you let yourself be overwhelmed and pulled under by those thoughts. And so for me, I was so reminded, first of all, of God's love and his grace, but also that when we let fear overcome us and take over our lives, we forget who God is, and so we forget to trust in him and to have faith. And I think that when I realized, you know, this isn't in my control, I felt really afraid, and I let that fear push me from trusting in the Lord. But, you know, I have a newfound appreciation for who God is, how he's working, and it might not work in the way that I want him to work, but I have to have faith that everything that he does in my life, every little thing, is not only for my good, but for the good of his people and for his kingdom, you know? And so I feel like a lot of people think, you know, like, oh, like, God is doing this because he loves me, because it's for my good, which is a really important thing to remember. But you also have to remember that it's so much bigger than just you. It's the vision that God has for the universe and the world and for the heavens. And it's just, when you think about it that way, a lot of the times those like surface anxieties kind of dissipate. Of course, there's a lot of deep-rooted stuff that a lot of us deal with, but, you know, those surface ones like go away, and that's like a little bit more weight lifted off our shoulders. So yeah, I know I'm rambling a lot today. I just have a lot of things to say because I feel like I haven't talked to you guys in a while. So that's with my future plans so far. In terms of boyfriend, he is planning on staying not in Boston. I don't really want to say like where he's staying. I feel like that's a little weird. But basically he is going to be not in Boston, and so we'll be long distance, and we've talked about that. So just some background, we dated for over a year. This was like sophomore to junior year, and then we broke up eventually because I came to recognize that what was missing from our relationship was Jesus, because my boyfriend at the time was not a believer. And so for a year and a half, like, we were on and off and like all these things, and like, so I did not pursue our breakup in the right way, and God was so graceful and merciful in that. And Didi just kept pursuing me, and I, you know, really made him wait for a long time because I just wanted to do things right. I just wanted God to be at the center of our relationship. And finally, you know, he has told me some things, and I just really feel like God is, you know, giving his blessing in this. And so, yeah, that's basically all you guys need to know. We are taking it slowly, and we are trying to pursue our relationship in a Christ-centered manner, which is a whole nother new thing for me because I've never had a Christ-centered relationship with a boy before. So this will be interesting, but a good learning experience, because ultimately, in my perspective and in my beliefs, our marriage is supposed to be, you know, a beautiful way to experience God's love, not only through each other, but through worshiping God as like one, you know, when you become one, all that stuff. So I am so excited for our future, I guess, you know, and if I'm being honest, we wouldn't be in a relationship again if we didn't see each other in our long-term futures. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. And I'm not afraid of long distance, honestly. I think it, particularly for us as a couple, it'll be a really good way of growing in our relationship, and also being able to build our own separate lives, because God forbid, you know, things don't work out the way that we think. We have our independence still, and that's something that we talk a lot about in Christian relationships, is being too interdependent before you're even married, you know. And I think spiritually, like, that's a whole can of worms sort of thing, but even like emotionally speaking, you don't want to be codependent on each other to the point where you don't have your own lives outside of each other, because, you know, what if things don't work out? Then you have like nothing. And I think it's really common in relationships to, you know, be missing a part of yourself and then to come out of that relationship and have to rebuild that. But I think especially for myself, as someone who has gone through multiple breakups, one of which was super serious and the other ones which were like, I think being codependent and emotionally dependent on someone was really, really bad for me. And that's why I struggled that much more coming out of that relationship. So, yeah. Yeah, it's crazy to see the way that my life is turning out right now. And again, God is so good and so graceful in what he does. I think that, you know, 3 years ago when I was a freshman, I could not have imagined that these are the things that God would be giving me, the opportunities I'd be able to experience. And just in general, like the joy that I would have for life. I never thought that this was possible for me. You know, I always thought that I'd be struggling. I always thought that I would, you know, be dealing with my eating disorder. I always thought that that was just how life was gonna be, and that's it. You know, and it's not to say that life is all sunshine and rainbows out my butt, but like I have a newfound perspective because of my faith and outlook on life about who I am and why I matter, and beyond that, like, how the sun will still rise again eventually, whether it's today or tomorrow or next week or next month, and being able to take each day as it comes and appreciate and have gratitude for it. You know, I don't know, it's crazy to think that this is who I am and this is my life right now. In terms of health and fitness things, not gonna lie, night shift is really difficult for me when it comes to eating, because I just don't have an appetite at night. I don't think anyone really has an appetite at 4 in the morning. So I have noticed the trend that I'm not eating enough. But again, it's not on purpose. It's just like I'm not hungry at 4 in the morning. So I have been switching my strategy to kind of snacking more when I'm on night shift, because when I'm on days, like, I do like to have big meals, like 2 or 3 big meals and like maybe 1 snack. But like, I noticed that for overnight shifts, snacking like every half hour to every hour really helps me keep my intake up, which is good, because no girl needs to be losing any more weight here. No girl, home girl. I meant to say home girl, but whatever. And in terms of running, so I'm pretty out of shape running wise compared to where I was before I got the flu. I think ever since getting the flu, like my airways just feel really tight, and running is just uncomfortable, especially trying to run fast, but I'm trying to be patient. I do think too that the exhaustion that I'm experiencing is, oh my gosh, there's a little cat across the, sorry, I can see like another like apartment right across from me, and there's a little kitty at the window. It's so cute. What was I saying? Oh yeah, I think also just like physically being so exhausted has taken a toll on my fitness, which makes sense because if you're not well rested, you can't perform at your best. So I'm just taking it a day at a time, working on increasing my mileage, and then slowly as the weather warms up and it's beautiful and it's nice and it's actually fun to run instead of like in sub 20-degree weather with like 25-mile-per-hour winds. And I'm still doing hot yoga. I have noticed my body change in terms of flexibility and how it moves, and just like how good I feel in my body, like because of doing yoga. And I've only been doing it twice a week, maybe 3 times a week if I'm good. And I just like, I love it so much. I think that sticking with it and seeing how much appreciation I have for myself through the practice is really what's making me stick around with it. So I'm really excited, and I'm definitely gonna look for a hot yoga studio when I go back to Boston. So if any of you guys are in the Boston area and want to suggest a good yoga studio for me to visit, definitely leave a comment below, or just comment on this video, or just message me, whatever, no pressure. So yeah, still plant-based, still loving life, still living it up. Drinking a little more alcohol than usual. But you know what? If I can afford to, might as well, and just enjoy myself. But moderation, guys. Nobody needs to be getting drunk every weekend. Well, some people do and they enjoy that, but like I don't need that in my life right now. I'm good. So yes, I feel like okay, I've been rambling for like almost 18 minutes now, and I feel like I still have so much to say. I hope that YouTube lets me upload this video though, because I don't really know if they will. But anyway, family stuff is okay. You know, I'm a little bit of struggling there, but it is what it is. And yeah, I might write a blog post about it because it's a little more private, I feel like. Whereas like a video is just like out there for people to see. But anyway, I'm loving life. I'm enjoying life. Life is good. God is good all the time. All the time, God is good. Say it with me. God is good all the time. All the time, God is good. Because He is. He is worthy of our trust. He has proven to us time and time and again that He is worthy of our trust. And we forget that too often. And we let our fear control us. We let sin control us, but God is still good, even through all of that. So anyway, that was a really long update. I hope that YouTube lets me upload this to the interwebs, but I don't know if it will. I really hope it does though. Anyway, I hope you guys are all doing well. Spring is coming, summer is coming, the weather is beautiful, the sun is shining. Seasonal depression can kiss my ass because it is over. It is done. It is finished. Hashtag Jesus has risen. But it's not Easter yet, so in 2 weeks Jesus has risen. But still, Jesus has risen every day. Okay. Anyway, I love you all, and I hope I see you guys soon.